And speaking of billionaires and you know, people exploiting folks, I went to this website called youversabillionaire.com. youversabillionaire.com. Okay? This is a website, and it's literally spelled YOUVS, a billionaire. And you can go to this website and you can type in your yearly salary and you can compare it to a billionaire. In this case, on the website, they specifically compare it to Elon Musk's wealth, okay? So I went in there and I typed in $100,000 as my yearly salary, right? I feel like that's a pretty fair, you know, average for the whole entire country, right? 100K is someone who, for the most part, is doing pretty well. Back in the day, 100K, it was popping, right? But now you're doing okay. 100K, you're doing well enough, all right? So if you're making $100,000 a year, Elon Musk's annual earnings are 1,210,000 times larger than yours. So you're making $100,000 a year. Elon Musk makes $1.21 million more than you do per year. Per year. So in other words, when you spend $1, it puts the same size dent in your wallet as Elon spending $1,210,000 would put into his wallet. I'm gonna need you to let that sink in. When you spend $1, the way it feels, the emotional sensations that you get when you spend $1, you put $1 in an unhoused person's cup. Okay. What can you even buy for $1? I don't even think I can't remember the last time I handed $1 to somebody and that was like to cover everything. But think about what it feels like to spend $1 on something. That's the same emotional feeling that Elon Musk gets spending $1.21 million. It's the same dent in his wallet as it would be to your wallet spending $1. Think about that. Think about what a throwaway dollars are. I always think about, y'all remember that show, Will and Grace? There was a scene where Karen, she comes from like the club. It's like the morning. They're like, oh, Karen, like, look at you. You're up early. She's like, but did I go to sleep? And she's like going through her purse and remember Karen was like super loaded and she finds a $20 bill and she's like, oh, how did this get in here? And she crumbles it up and throws it, right? Such a funny scene. That show was so funny, by the way. But in the same way that, you would be like, oh, $1 here, who cares? That is how Elon Musk would feel about $1.21 million. And the minimum wage is $7.25. You putting 25 cents into a parking meter is the equivalent of Elon Musk buying an Audi R8. Oh, sorry, two. Two Audi R8s. So when you take a quarter and put it into the washing machine, when you put it into the parking meter, I don't even know what else you can use a quarter for. The same effect a quarter has on you would be the same effect as Elon Musk buying two Audi R8s. Can you imagine you could buy an Audi R8 with a quarter? Because that's what it feels like to Elon. For relative costs of Dunkin' Donuts, I'm sure they were probably a sponsor of this website. Dunkin' Donuts $5 lattes. So you're buying a $5 latte. The equivalent would be Elon Musk buying 4 Dunkin' Donuts franchises. Finding a $20 bill in your pocket In order for Elon to have the same excitement that we feel as finding a $20 bill in our pocket, he would have to find $24 million and $24,200,000. Our $20 feels like $24 million, $200 to freaking Elon. Can you believe that? A fully loaded Tesla Model S would set you, if you were making $100,000 a year, back $150,990. What would that be equivalent to, Elon? 12 cents. 12 cents. 12 cents. The median home listed in the United States was $346,900. I don't know why I can't read numbers. $346,990. To Elon, that would be the equivalent of 29 cents. Meaning Elon could buy the average house in America for the equivalent of what would feel like 29 cents to somebody making $100,000 a year. And obviously the average person in America isn't making $100,000 a year. So I chopped that. I said, you know what, let me just take a look at 50,000. And obviously every number I just gave you basically have to double it. Okay? Putting 25 cents in a parking meter for someone making $50,000 would be the same as Elon Musk buying a Rolls Royce Ghost. It would be $5 latte for you, $50,000 a year earner, would be the same thing as Elon buying 8 Dunkin' Donuts franchises. And the minimum wage is $7.25. This is what we mean when we're talking about the inequality. I love this website because it really helps you to put into perspective the wealth gap and inequality. It is uncomparable. It is not, if I work hard enough, I can make as much money as Elon. That's not how this works. Okay? It's the fact that to the average person, what would be life-changing money would literally be the $20 bill in Karen's purse from Will and Grace that she threw out of her purse because she was grossed out. She would have such a low currency in her purse. That's what it would be to the billionaires out there. And this was just with Elon Musk's money. We could do this with any other billionaire. I think it's important for people to realize, to actually see tangibly how much we as the American people are getting screwed. And these people like Elon Musk are literally buying the government so they don't have to pay taxes. And they're already paying effectively one of the lowest tax rates in the history of this country. Back in the day, the tax rate on high income earners was something like 94%. And of course, this was, it wasn't all of your income. This was taxed on a certain amount after a certain point. So, arbitrarily, this is not accurate, but it's like you make over, $100 million or 100, whatever it is, then they start taxing whatever you make over that at 94%. That's what it used to be. Until Ronald Reagan came into office. And that fool dropped that shit down to like 27%, give or take. I'm not necessarily a numbers person, but give or take. And ever since him, it's just been steadily dropping. And they won't be happy until the effective tax rate is negative, AKA we people have to pay them to be rich. That's what they want it to be. Because they will fight, and they're fighting too. They are buying the entire government. We saw the first row at the inauguration. Billionaires in the first row. That told you everything you needed to know. And it's so wild that we have people who are making these exorbitant amounts of money while simultaneously fighting people. Because remember, what did Elon do when he decided to moonlight in the government for 15 minutes? He decided to create a government agency called Doge, where the whole sole purpose was to cut shit. How dare you, a billionaire, think you have the right to be telling people what they can and can't cut? Let's start by cutting your fucking bank account and redistributing that wealth. Let's start there. But it's so wild that these people are sitting here fighting tooth and nail to prevent the minimum wage from going up. It's been $7.25 for 15 years. And they're only trying to get it to $15, which is still well below what it should be if we kept up with productivity, which is about $26, $27 an hour. So, folks, especially people who want to defend the billionaires, you're like, oh, well, it's not our fault. It's not their fault. Because, you think that one day you're going to be a billionaire and you don't want people to come take your money. It's important for people to put into perspective how much they're screwing us. This is like I said, take the time, go to abillionaire.com, type in $36,000 a year, because that's what a lot of people are making, and see what that's really like. And then remember, you got to pull out globally and see how that relates to the global average. Because once you leave the country, it just drops. It's important for us as people to know who the real enemy is. We cannot continue to be focusing on each other and arguing with each other about, protecting rich people and allowing them to get richer while we're suffering. It's one thing if everybody was living good. Yeah, make as much money as you want. But you mean to tell me our minimum wage is $7.25? These rich people have been fighting tooth and nail for 15 years to keep it that way? 3.5 times less than what it should be if we kept up with productivity? You mean to tell me that's the case? And these motherfuckers are, and they continue to fight as they're getting richer and richer and richer so they can have a yacht that trails behind their main yacht. Let's wake up, people, and pay attention to who the real enemy is. Because I promise you, it's not us. It's not each other.